Okay, another quick one. The mystery amp I just received, bought on ePay. Um, this thing was quadruple box, but with no bubble wrap, right? But it survived. No tubes broken, not bent up and beat up. So we opened up, took off the covers of the mystery amp, and very, very dusty inside. We haven't done any magic to it, haven't cleaned it, haven't steam cleaned it, brushed it, or anything. Just showing the mystery amp. And it came with a manual, and I was hoping the manual would have a schematic. But the manual has the operation, testing, what to look for shorts, tuning, all kind of stuff, but everything but a schematic. And the manual also says that these are 1625 tubes, and it's 5 of them. 4 of them are for the outputs. And what's the 5th one for? Driver tube? Nope. Power supply? Rectifier? Nope, 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 nope. Nothing like that. Would you believe that they used that 5th 1625, that tube right there? That's your keying tube. That's according to the manual of this thing. And 5 tubes, transformer. It'd take an old timer to know what that is, right? Kind of looks like an oil cap, but I'll give you a hint. That's not a cap. Turning it around, the mystery box, and that's it underneath. Fairly clean underneath. All the dust and dirt is, I guess, from the top side. It was, sealed with the cover and all that. I got the covers for them. Just took them off and showing them before I do some deep cleaning, and then I'll probably do a reverse schematic on it, since this mystery amp, I know what it is, but there's no information on it, on this amplifier. And one of the reasons I bought it is because I was curious to what was in the inside. Curiosity killed the cat. And of course, a lot of people haven't heard that satisfaction brought them back. So after I go through it and see the ins and outs of it, of how it works and what does what, we'll be satisfied with our curiosity. But this is the mystery amp, and that is a capacitor, oil-filled capacitor. Diode bank, tune and load. Basically, 2 indicator lights. Interesting, they got a small trimmer here. Looks like it comes off the load. I know what that does. That's a trimmer on the output for the light, for one of the lights for the output. The other light is showing the power or turn on light. I'm thinking that trimmer there, which is on the tune cap, is probably goes back to the 2. It's probably a neutralizer cap, right? And according to the manual, I did read the manual, which explained a lot of stuff, but again, no schematics. That's going to be the input tuning capacitor right there. I think it's grid driven, not grounded grid. And that would explain that coil there, input coil, input capacitor, or input tuning capacitor. And that also would explain this cap here, a neutralizing cap, where you take a little bit of the output, a little squirt of the output, and you send it back to the input. And it tunes out any bad stuff like harmonics or excessive gain that caused the thing to go in a runaway. It neutralizes the feedback, basically, that you get. Every amp gets a little bit of it, but higher gain amps, grid driven amps, it's a lot more crucial that you watch the feedback or the neutralization. Grounded grid amps are simple. They don't have as much gain, they don't have as much audio. They'll do the watts, don't have as much audio, don't have as much gain, need a higher drive. And they normally don't need neutralization and all that stuff. Even a lot of grounded grid amps, the input of the tubes is low enough that you can many times, it's not a great idea, but you can get away with it, is run a grounded grid amp without a tuned input. Not a great idea, but you can get away with it on a grounded grid amp. In many of the, let's say, less expensive ham amplifiers don't have a tuned input on, like a dual 3500Z amp or something like that, because a pair of 3500Zs, the input is so close to 50 ohms that it's not needed, but still a good idea. That's more of it. Again, that tube was supposed to be the keying circuit according to the manual. And that gizmo there, that socket there, is so you can hook up a suppressed carrier doohickey to this amp, if that gives any hint of who this amp is. But maybe you can tell by the color and also how it's made. And another giveaway, oh, that's on the other side. So we're going to flip it around one more time right quick. But another giveaway of who made this amp is the plate choke right there. And that's all I'm going to say on this rare amp. Anybody have any more information, jump in there before I tear this thing down and apart and go through it, give it a bath, and figure out what's what and who's who, because I couldn't find anything on it, and that's aroused my curiosity. So we got it for now, so my curiosity is sated for now. And then once we go through it and figure out what's what and all that for this thing, my curiosity will be completely satisfied, hopefully. I'll say this too before I go. Interesting that this thing has 5 of those big old, these are old tubes, 1625s, but it is rated at 150 watts maximum. And if you look at the sides of the transformer, single transformer, again, that's not a transformer, not a cap. That transformer ain't gonna do a whole lot of watts anyway. All right, that's it of the surprise mystery amplifier. Bye.